This week went by incredibly fast for me. Like I can't believe that we're already talking again. Um, how was your week?
It was good. I mean, it was a week of trying to get back to normalcy and being productive versus the previous week, which was kind of rough. But I pretty much did. I feel pretty good about it. I set out four specific goals for myself. I was going to not use Reddit, wake up on time, get excited again about my own projects
Life.
and stuff. Yeah, well, sure. And then finish my blog post. And I did all four. There was a few little asterisks. I browsed Reddit just a tiny bit because I
But
forgot
you
again. I
told me about it, so it's okay.
Yeah, I confess this to you. Um but it wasn't long and I fixed that. I didn't do it the rest of the week. I got up a little bit later than I had set out to, 7:30 rather than 7, but it's fine. It's winter. It stays dark forever, so whatever. And I finished my blog post seconds before we started recording, but that still counts. And yeah, so pretty good. I'm
Okay.
feeling pretty okay.
Well, good job. How do you feel about your blog post? I haven't read it yet.
It's I tried to pick something that I thought would be easy to talk about and easy to write because
What- What's the title of it?
the title is how to use Claude Code for big tasks without turning your code to shit.
Perfect.
Yeah. I resolved to curse more in my public discourse, and so I'm working on that. Um, it's basically just about me using AI tools to work on code stuff and having to figure out how to make it work without causing a disaster. And I figured it would be an easy thing to write. It's a kind of a simple topic, really. Although it honestly it feels like whatever I choose to write about, it always just inflates to being a challenge no matter what. No matter how simple and small of a carve out I'm expecting it to be, I just cannot help but put maximal mental effort into it until I bang into the deadline. You know,
Me too.
I've been yeah. So I don't know what the point is. I might as well just try and do hard things because it's all the same.
There's probably like a million things we could talk about just on that one observation. Is it okay? Whatever. I'm gonna hold back on that because
Yeah, well, first, how was your week? Let's do that, and then we can kind of get into some of the specifics.
okay. Well, part of my week totally sucked, but I don't want to talk about that. So we'll talk about the part that didn't suck. Um, the part that didn't suck was I. This was my make a YouTube video week. That was goal from last week or whatever.
Yep.
I've been alternating drawing and then YouTube video, drawing YouTube video, and it's kind of going great. Like when I'm working on the YouTube video, I will feel for a little bit like, oh, I need to get back to drawing. I need to be drawing more, whatever. But then before I know it, I'm done with the video and I have to get back to drawing. And uh, yeah, I don't know. It's been great. So I finished my YouTube video literally the same like minutes that we started this. Uh, yeah, so I don't know, 20 minutes ago I uploaded it. Um, it was it was kind of interesting. I struggled with it. It was hard, but at the same time, it's just another video. It was, challenging, but also rewarding and whatever, all that same stuff, I guess. Yeah, I think I feel good about it. I don't know. You got to give me some time to feel to feel good or
Right.
bad about it. I will say the difference between uploading now and uploading, I don't know. I don't think it's been a whole year yet, but about a year ago when I first uploaded the
Yeah.
world building one, that one it felt so, or the first couple videos I did, it felt so like my whole life depended on the outcome of those videos, and now it's like I'm not even, I'm not reeling from it. I'm not covered
Yeah.
in embarrassment until people start pointing out everything wrong with my video. Then maybe I'll feel bad, but I feel fine. Like I'll probably be checking. My YouTube checking will go up, in the next few days. But
Right.
I don't know. I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
I mean, that was the goal. That was the task, was to get to the point where it feels more routine. And I can feel myself getting there. It's not there yet. There's still a percentage of the effort that is not required for the job. Like I need to write an article, so I need to think about it. I need to come up with what I want to say. I need to say it. I need to edit it. Like there's these things that have to happen, obviously. It's never going to be 0 seconds of effort. But there's the layer on top of that of me feeling conflicted, second guessing things, having to force myself to try and, work up the motivation to do it and all of that. And I think it's probably, I don't know, is 50-50 at this point. Like half of the work is pointless, unnecessary work, like worry, and then half of it is real, genuine effort, which isn't great, but it's not like 10-1 like I think it used to be.
Well, what do you mean by worry?
You know, I I've been working on this particular article for 2 or 3 weeks off and on. Like I started it and then stopped and then started it, and I eventually needed a deadline for me to finish it, and so I finished it literally at 6:00 on the clock today, which was the deadline. And part of that is indicative of the fact that I don't want to do it. I need the deadline to kind of motivate me to do it. Even though I want to, but then when I sit down with the pen and the page, it's like, oh, this isn't coming out right. I'm not saying it the way I want to, or oh, this is too long, it's too wordy. And like there's this conflict part that's more to do with me feeling like this is important. People are going to read it. This is a reflection on me and my identity and how the world perceives me. And so I'm worried about it. And I don't want people to think I'm dumb. And I want it to do well. I want people to read it. I want people to like it. I want it to try and happen. Like all of the stuff that's bundled up in there that causes me to feel conflicted and to second guess myself and to like put more suffering into it than is inherent in the actual process of just writing an article. So in my mind, the platonic ideal, the perfect place that I want to get to is where writing an article or doing anything that has this kind of output is as hard as it needs to be. And an article is never going to be effortless. It takes work. I have to think. I have to put things together. But I'm not there. It's more pain than that warrants. It's like, I think, if I'm vaguely guessing, it's probably about double, maybe a little bit more than double. But it used to be way worse. The first time I wrote something, I had written it and rewritten it and just tried so many times. And the first blog post I wrote is not even the best example. You go back to the early YouTube videos. The amount of effort I put into one YouTube video was probably 20 times what it needed to be. The amount of suffering was 20x what it should be. So I'm kind of basing my success on that metric. Like how much harder is it than it needs to be? And it's improving. It's better, but it's not there.
I think. Okay, speaking. I think I'm a pretty decent case study because there's a couple things actually quite a few things that I'm doing for the first time, throwing them out there. There's the YouTube videos, but within the YouTube videos, there's also writing stories and putting those out there, doing the types of drawings that I'm doing and throwing those out there.
Mhm.
Um, editing all the YouTube stuff, the videos themselves. And then also I've been posting on Instagram every single day. All of that stuff sounds probably pretty simple to everyone else, but to me, it's been a series of terrifying events and terrifying, uh, you know, acts of bravery for me
Yeah.
to overcome. And with each YouTube video, posting it, like I just said, has gotten easier. In the like, I know it's not going to make or break me. I mean, maybe it will someday, but I've had some videos do okay and some not do okay, and they never seem to line up with what I think are the
Yeah.
best videos. But the only way that I can get my brain to understand that is just by doing it over and over again and seeing different outcomes. Like seeing the the patterns not go as I expect them to go. And that now when I post, I have no idea what to expect. And because of that, it's not really lined up with my excitement or with my,
Mm.
obsession of how I'll be viewed. So I can almost guarantee you do another 5 to 10 blog posts and you will not be feeling that same amount of pressure or the same amount of significance because it won't feel as significant. At the same time, there is a flip side to that, which I was talking to you about earlier, in that I'm also hearing like a lot of different voices when I go to record these YouTube videos in
Right.
all the feedback. And so there's another level of like analyzing what you do, but I almost think and like over intellectualizing it or whatever it's called, to where you're thinking about stuff a little too much. There's like that side of it, and then there's also the side of seeing it as significant to you as a person. I think are two separate things. Does that make sense? You can say no.
Say it again real quick.
Okay. What you're talking about is you thinking, I think, is you thinking that how you write that blog post is going to affect your ego or your image significantly. I mean, subconsciously, this is what you're thinking. When you post this thing, you're either going to be, the best blogger on the planet, or your, I don't know, your reputation is ruined or something. So there's that side of it,
Yeah.
significance of you as a person, and then there's the other side of it, where you're analyzing the actual craft and
Yeah.
overthinking how you're writing it. At least that's what I've noticed with me. There's a side of like once I post it, or upload it, at the beginning it felt like a very big deal, and it messed with like my image
Yeah.
of myself. But now there's a different side. That doesn't really bother me anymore. Now it's sort of this over analyzing the actual act of creating it. It's different. I don't know. Maybe that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
at all,
No, I
but
get it. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it brings up this pretty important question that I don't know that we've talked about all that much in this particular, arc of us working on these things is how do you get better? How do you put something out and then process whatever you need to process, collect the feedback, and then channel that into doing a better job the next time? And that hasn't been our focus, which I think is correct, in that we've mostly just tried to make the process easier to where we aren't obsessed with quality, because that can be counterproductive to actually doing it again in the future. But there is still that question. Like, obviously you want to get really good at doing art and drawing and painting, and then also at creating YouTube videos and making them better and better, and everything that entails, your ability to communicate with an audience, to compel them to create emotions. For me, my stuff has been more technical writing, but a lot of the fundamentals are the same. I'm still talking to someone. I'm still trying to create an emotional arc. I'm still trying to make something interesting and engaging, you know, to be information dense, but not too long, to be witty, all of that.
I think um with I want to be careful for myself, so you can keep me in check about this.
Yeah.
I think I've wavered a bit, but Um, I don't want to get better at. Both of us need to figure out what it is you actually want to improve when we talk about getting better.
Yeah.
Is it that you want more views and more attention or whatever? Like for me, do I want more views on my videos? Do I want, that's whatever. Like, yeah, that stuff's great, but what I really want to get better at is having a stronger vision and a stronger execution of that vision of, whatever I have. So artistically, that is what I want to get better at. So the feedback needs to be in that direction.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good
and
observation.
for you, writing a blog, you need to figure out what it is you want to improve at. One, because if you don't know that, you'll be pulled in too many different directions, which I think I have been recently. But for you, I don't know if I've really heard you talk too much about what your motivation is for doing the blog. Because what it should be after, I think, is what you gain out of it. Like the actual act of writing it allows you to practice your ability to take a subject, expand on it, understand it, really understand it, and communicate it. Right? I mean, that's what you want to be able to do. Oh, it's that practice that you started this for, I think. And then, that practice enables you to do a lot of other things as well that line up with, what you want out of life or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't know. I think it's important for you to reflect on why it is you started the blog in the first place, or what the point of it is in order to quote unquote improve at it.
Yeah.
Because you only want to improve in the ways that it actually improves you as a human, right?
I think that's a very insightful observation. I think you're exactly right that trying to trying to very carefully define improvement is important. I want to move towards some goal. If that goal is to just get real popular and get lots of attention, well, that's fine, but also sort of a shallow goal. And that also leads in the direction of just being provocative, talking about relevant topics, basically click farming and all that stuff. That road leads to just pure clickbait grift. So that's not what I want. I think I will spend some time thinking about this, but my reaction is that I want to convince people of something. I want to convince them of an ideology. I Without getting into the big arc, I actually was thinking about this or something close to it recently, and that I actually want to write an article about this specifically. But when I was growing up, like just based on how old I am and the particular, arc of the universe or humanity as I was growing up, I grew up at a time where personal computers were just starting to become a thing. And I remember the first time I got to use one. I remember the first time I ever used the internet was at NASA, where dad brought me to work for Take Your Son to Work Day. And I got to use his computer that NASA provided him with, and it was hooked up to the internet. And up to that point, I hadn't really even heard of the internet. I was just a kid, and I got to try it, and it was amazing. It was like completely mind blowing. I remember my friend Wesley Rayleigh was also there, and he showed me a site where you could read the script of Star Wars A New Hope. And that's what I did. That was my first internet experience, was just reading the script of Star Wars. And that was crazy for me. Like that was my exposure to that, and then computers start progressing and people get them at home, and then the internet becomes common. And it was an era where everything was improving so quickly, and everything was so promising. I mean, it's hard to explain because this doesn't happen anymore, but it was like new technology was coming online, and it felt like the future was going to be incredible. You weren't feeling the downsides of it. It just felt like everyone is going to have access to information. Everyone is going to be educated and intelligent and rational, and that means that everyone's life will improve. Politics is going to improve. Everything is just going to get better and better, like, and at this incredible rate, and we're probably going to be living forever and solving all of the world's problems. Like, that's what it felt like. And then you fast forward to now, and it turns out to have been this, awful monkey's paw cursed wish, and everything sucks. And I want to try and communicate to people that it did not have to be this way. There are specific things that led to it, both at a government level, at a policy level, but also at a technical level. And there are things that we can do that steer the world in a different direction. And I want to, like, one, convince them of the scale of the problem, but two, try and push solutions for a future that is not just the hell that we are entering. So anyway, that's my grand vision. I think that's what I want. And so for me to get better, it is, one, to further refine the ideas and arguments that I want to make to people, and the solutions, which I think is the most important part, but also just become better and better and more convincing at presenting that perspective that is somewhat of a counter narrative to what you hear from the very wealthy, very successful, like, that is not Apple's narrative of the world. That is not Microsoft's narrative of the world. It's not Facebook or Google. It's like there's trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars behind companies who don't see things that way because they won. They own the world now, and they have a completely different perspective. So anyway, that's my first pass at, like, what I want and what I want to do, and I want to get better at doing that.
I think that's perfect. You you just defined your North Star. And now you just need to make sure you check your compass and,
Yeah.
frequently as
Yeah.
you do this. Yeah, that's perfect.
Well,
I, you could spend some time mapping out,
yeah.
just topics around that direction. And yeah, building, I don't know, a whole community around that. And being clear about your goal. Like, publicly stating that's what you want. I think that would make a great, front
Mhm.
page type of thing. Or, like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm after, stating your mission and
Yeah.
going after that. It kind of gives you, it reinforces your focus. Um, yeah, I don't know. Sounds great. Save the world
Good.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. What about you? I mean, how do you think about, like, I guess you've
Oh,
defined things pretty well, or that's part of what you've been doing.
I, oh, you said yours so perfectly. Great to follow that with, what's my main mission, but I guess,
Thanks. I'll take that.
um,
To be
I
fair, I cheated
thought,
a bit. I have been thinking about that this week, so it was kind of fresh. So if it felt purely improvisational, it wasn't completely.
okay, well, I'm definitely just gonna totally bullshit mine because I have not. I mean, I have thought about
No,
this stuff,
not
but
bullshit.
it's not, I'm not gonna bullshit mine. But it's. I thought at the beginning, because I say in pretty much every single YouTube video, is like, I'm making I started this world building project, and it's true. Like, I gave a name to this thing that I'm coming up with ideas for, and I'm trying to expand on it. But it really is, in every sense of it is an intellectual property in every sense of the word. Like, in a way that it takes place in my brain. It it's real property in my head of all of these things. Um, Exploring this, world building project. it doesn't feel like I'm building a brand. It doesn't feel like I am, making a cool little monster manual or something like that. It doesn't feel like that at all. Maybe it should lean a little bit more towards that and more like down to earth. But the way it feels to me is like me mapping out and trying to understand things that happen in my mind, both emotionally, intellectually, whatever. Like certain like real patterns of things that happen in uh, relationships to people and experiences that I have, like really trying to map out and understand to a degree, but maybe understand isn't the right word. It's a observation, just looking at it and giving form to some of these things that happen in my brain. It starts to sound real strange because it is strange. And like I remember, like, I don't know, a couple months ago, one of my friends from work was like, "So you started a um something online, like people are talking about it at work." And she's like, what is figure eight?" And I was like, that's perfect.
Hmm.
I don't have a fucking clue. But I do. Um, but not really. Like it's I really don't know how to explain it with words, which is why I guess I make art and come up with stories and make videos and whatever. But like it's so much bigger to me than just like a series of drawings or something. It's like, yeah. So what my mission is on top of that to understand, the world and how it works, and my world and how it's worked or not worked, um, is to also share with people the act of creating and the act of sinking into the world and observation and experience and whatever. And so if you watch my videos, they're or forget about the videos. That the way I like to create things is so powerful to me, at least in the way that I experience it, coming up with stories, working on the drawings, the research that it takes, and blah, 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 all that stuff. The actual act of creating and thinking about this stuff is so powerful to me that I want to share that act of creating. That's what's important to me. It's like, hey, humans, did you know you can do this? Like you can submerge yourself into these weird worlds that provide some like extra layer of experience in your life. I don't like I don't know how to say it without sounding really stupid, but um so I think my mission, my North Star is sort of like creating things or more like finding them and then sharing that is possible. Um Showing people that like traditional ways of working, not just like traditional tools, but actually traditional ways of thinking rather than, you know, just generating bullshit with AI or whatever. Um, there's actually like a wholesome depth
Yeah.
of life to it. Uh,
Yeah.
Kind of hard to make sense talking about this stuff, but I think you get it.
Yeah. And I think what you're doing is kind of similar to what sci-fi does and what fantasy does. I mean, I know the genre is, I guess, a fantasy world, but um, one of my favorite quotes, I think it was Isaac Asimov, said that sci-fi doesn't just predict the automobile, it predicts the traffic jam. And I love that because sci-fi is such a, I mean, there's tons of garbage in the genre, so it makes it hard to navigate sometimes, but like the good sci-fi is just incredible. And it shows you a vision of the future that is in some ways aspirational. We like imagining having, ships that can navigate from star system to star system and these future civilizations, and maybe we've solved a lot of problems, but also obviously there's tons of new problems, and lots of sci-fi is apocalyptic and all kinds of things. But it is humans looking at ourselves and kind of creating a dream that we can look at and think about and draw inspiration from and draw warning and all of these things. And it's really powerful. I mean, it's uh it's an important thing for humans to do just collectively, is to kind of think about that kind of thing in this shared experience. And it feels like what you're doing is that type of thing. I mean, it's a developing world, it's a developing project, obviously, but it is a look at a world that is, it is similar to ours. It has similar themes to ours, but it's kind of showing you something. It's letting you think about humans and their way of interacting with the world and each other in different ways. And that, I think, can be really powerful. I know it's awkward that my lights just changed right now, so let me fix that. But I'm I'm pretty excited to see how it develops and like how that kind of dream is presented.
Well, I'm also excited to see you. Actually, I really would like it if you could save the world with positive tech. That would be really nice. That would help me out a lot. So,
It won't be me. I but I'm going to hold my candle up to the storm and hope that other people do too.
I
So,
like that. We can end on that imagery.
okay. All right. So, real quick, any goals for this coming week? And it's okay if we're just gonna chill a little bit, but
I'm just switching back to drawing. So I did my video. Now I'm back to drawing, and no specific goals other than I need to finish another drawing. I think by next week. I think I have. I think it's every 2 weeks that I do that. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's every 2 weeks. So I need a drawing in 2 weeks. Um, I finished Twin Peaks,
Oh,
so I'm not happy about that. Start it over.
Sa-
I bring that up because I just
Sam and
brought it
I.
up.
This is completely different, but Sam and I have been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and
Hmm.
it's remarkably good. It's obviously completely different, but it's really good, and I've been enjoying it a
I know.
lot. So just throwing that out
I've
there.
seen. Oh, I want to read a bit more. I got a whole stack of books, and I
Okay.
started this thing where when because me just like everybody else, I have a problem of just buying books and not reading them. So I started a stack of books right next to my chair, and I can't move them until I read them. It's or like if I buy new books, they must go on the stack. So I can't buy more books. It's, there's a ceiling, So there's just a
I like
stack.
that. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're gonna read some this week.
Read some, draw some, do the good things. Uh,
Okay.
what are your plans?
I'm also gonna read some this week. I will just go ahead and steal that and do that too. That sounds good. I am going to try and continue to wake up on time, and I'm gonna just
Stay away
try
from
and what's that?
stay away from Reddit.
Yeah. Well, that it doesn't go without saying. So I will say it. No Reddit this week. I will again tell you if I use it. I want to continue to get up on time, and I'm also going to just really put my focus on not aspiring to do incredible things or solve incredible problems, but like just show up to work and just put work in. That's going to be my goal, not make too much out of it. And I think
Yeah,
that
it's actually just as a warning for both of us, which we already know this, but we often forget it. When we talk about the big picture, it gets really inspiring. Like, oh,
Mhm.
you're going to change the world, or oh, I'm going to reveal, all of humanity, like the hidden
Yeah.
world of the human experience. And it's like if you get too in your head about the
Yeah.
just epicness of your grand vision, then when you sit down to actually like draw pictures, something just
Right.
it starts to feel like there's no point. And you're like, oh, a single blog post, that's stupid. Or, a single
Yep.
drawing, that's not the grand vision. Um, so yeah, you're totally right. Just
Yeah. I am trying to think of it like a minimum wage job that in order to keep the job, you got to show up. You don't have to do an amazing job. You just got to like stack the boxes. You just got to be there. So that's how I'm going to be looking at my work this week. I just got to show up. That's it.
Word.
Okay. Cool. Good luck, everybody, with your projects. We will talk to you next week.